now like to recognize the gentleman from Michigan and our subcommittee vice chairman, Mr. Amash, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the panel for being here. And Mr. Donahoe, I really enjoyed meeting you the other day and chatting with you.
Thank you.
You had just said, I think, that you guys would break even if you didn't have to make the pre-funding.
This year, yes.
But I think your own plan shows that you'd have an operating income loss.
Our plan shows an operating income loss of about $900 million, but we will continue to cut. We've got a plan in place right now. We're addressing administrative cost reduction, $750 million. We'll get some of that this year. We've got some other changes going. Our goal would be to make $100 million this year if we were able to be forgiven from the prepayment plan this year. Okay.
I have a copy of the letter from the Office of Personnel Management to former Postmaster General John Potter. It's from September 2004, and it rejects the claim that USPS has overpaid the Civil Service System, Civil Service Retirement System. OPM explains that the Postal Service's request for a return of $75 billion in overpayment to the CSRS is unfounded and should not be granted by the Congress. Furthermore, the letter includes a statement from the CSRS Board of Actuaries in which it declares that OPM has appropriately and accurately determined the financial obligations for the Postal Service. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to submit this letter for the record. And Mr. Donahoe, what is your response to the letter?
Here's my response. We have differing opinions here. Our IG and the Postal Service has estimated with external actuaries that we've overpaid $75 billion. The Postal Regulatory Commission has looked at the same information, and their outside actuaries have estimated that we've overpaid somewhere between 50 and 55. So there is a meeting of the minds necessary to sit down and get this resolved once and for all.
So you do disagree with the letter, though?
I disagree with the letter.
If I could add that the PAEA actually has a provision so that the Postal Service can ask us to review the OPM analysis. And the Postal Regulatory Commission did what we believe is an objective analysis, bringing in a highly respected third-party expert to review the situation. So one could say you have the self-interest of the Postal Service and the self-interest of the Office of Personnel Management, each one wanting to protect its funds. But I want to assure you that the Postal Regulatory Commission had no preconceptions, gave this study no prior directions, and we came up with what we believe is a fair and objective assessment that there is, in fact, a $50 billion overpayment there.
And without objection, the letter so referenced is entered in the record.
I have a question for Mr. Herr as well. In your testimony, you recognize that a significant financial issue for the Postal Service is the fact that 80% of its costs go toward employee salaries and benefits. Do you believe that USPS should be able to renegotiate collective bargaining agreements?
One area that we suggested that Congress reconsider is whether contracts that go to binding arbitration, if there is an impasse, that there be a consideration given to the Postal Service's ability to pay, and given its financial situation. So that is an area that we have highlighted in prior work, and I highlighted again today in my statement.
And the President has suggested giving USPS some breathing room. Will that actually make the problem worse by delaying it?
I would say that one of the things we have been on the record is saying that the Postal Service needed some short-term relief for this retiree health care benefit payment. We have been saying that for 2 years. This would be a third year. I think this is really the time, we are at the statutory debt limit, to make some hard decisions about what this organization is going to look like going forward. The overall liabilities and obligations outlined in my statement are over $100 billion now. So it's time to take into consideration the changing use of the mail, what kind of footprint the Postal Service needs, and then really think about how that's all going to be paid for, including retiree benefits, which employees are expecting to.
Thank you all for your testimony. I yield back.
Thank you.